Books on Tape presents Cracking the Millionaire Code, Your Key to Enlightened Wealth.
Ready to
by
work.
Mark Victor Hansen and Robert G. Allen. Read by the authors.
Introduction.
Work.
Imagine this. Standing outside your front door this moment are two prosperous-looking gentlemen. The taller of the two, that's me, reaches out and knocks. You open the door and find Bob and me, the authors of this book, standing in front of you smiling. Congratulations, we say. You have been selected as a contestant on our new reality TV show, Cracking the Millionaire Code. You and 19 other contestants will be organized into 4 separate groups. Each team will be given the task of coming up with one brand new $1 million idea for creating enlightened wealth. You'll test your idea and launch it with the goal of earning $1 million in cash. Your team will donate the first 10% of your profit to charity you choose before you start. 3 other teams will be competing with you. The grand prize, the team that earns and donates the most enlightened money, will win an extra $1 million. Still interested?
You might be wondering why we selected
What do you want?
Well, actually, you've selected yourself by listening to this audio. And when you fill out the specially designed questionnaire you'll find on the internet at www.crackingthemillionairecode.com, you'll take the next step in demonstrating that you're not one of the typical get-rich-quick, pie-in-the-sky romantics who are quick to dream, but just as quick to give up on their dreams. We've learned that most people are great starters but lousy finishers. We can tell that you realize that wealth is a marathon, not a 100-yard dash. Are you ready? Imagine millions of people watching you compete for millions of dollars. Imagine the final week of the show when the 4 teams reveal their $1 million creations in prime time. Imagine millions of viewers voting with their credit cards to buy one of the $1 million products that are offered on national television. Imagine the millions in profit that could be generated from such publicity. Imagine how good it could feel to know that your chosen charity receives the first 10% in profit. Imagine being on the winning team and walking away with an extra $1 million for yourself. Wouldn't that be fun?
Reality begins right now. Well, our reality TV show may not be quite ready for prime time, but reality itself starts the moment you finish this audio book and start to take action. We'll show you exactly how to turn your enlightened ideas into millions. Then at our website, www.crackingthemillionairecode.com, we will guide you on a step-by-step 101-day plan to your first enlightened million. This audio is divided into 2 completely different types of content. You'll hear real-life stories of ordinary people who cracked the millionaire code and created extraordinary fortunes from a single idea, often in the face of extraordinary challenges. They made millions and gave away millions the enlightened way. We hope their stories will inspire you, and you'll learn how to crack your own personal wealth code. We'll show you how to overcome your personal fears. We'll show you how to gather an amazing team around you. We'll show you how to soul storm not one, but dozens of $1 million ideas. We'll show you an incredible, enlightened way to market your ideas. Some people make the process of cracking the wealth look easy. Others seem to struggle for a lifetime, and still prosperity eludes them. Here is the way this works. There's an enormous bank vault filled with amazing wealth waiting for you this very instant. Unfortunately, there's no course in the educational system called Wealth 101. Very few of us are taught even the basics of money, how to make it, and how to keep it. And yet there's more to wealth than just learning about money. Where do we learn the essential personal development skills of confidence building, time management, listening to our intuition? This audio is designed to show you how to crack your own personal wealth code. If you don't want it for yourself, then certainly you want it for those people on this planet who are less fortunate than you. Would you share it with them? You can do so much good if you'll just learn how to crack the 4 key codes that keep your wealth vault sealed. Let us help you uncover the secrets of your personal wealth code. Each of us is different. Each of us has unique strengths and weaknesses. that we each need to discover and utilize for our fastest route to prosperity. Let us show you the surest, swiftest, and safest path.
In addition to the real-life stories and code-cracking content, there is a hidden layer to this material. To make your learning more interesting and challenging, other secrets are hidden on the website, www.crackingthemillionairecode.com, where there are 101 unique puzzles, codes, and ciphers found to encourage you to think more profoundly about enlightened wealth. We encourage you to crack all the 101 codes on the website, but if you don't have access to the internet, you won't miss any of the important lessons. Each message that you decipher will bring you one step closer to the prosperity that is awaiting you. Our goal is to inspire you with real stories, empower you with real systems, and motivate you with real cash to achieve enlightened wealth on the fastest route possible. Can you do it in 101 days? Well, we believe it's certainly realistic that real profit can be flowing into your life in less than 101 days. If not in 101 days, then an extra enlightened million in your lifetime is absolutely realistic.
By the way, you may soon be wondering why we use the number 101 so often. We believe that 101 is an enlightened number, and it served both of us very well. One of the most successful book series in history, Chicken Soup for the Soul, contains 101 heartwarming, soul-touching stories. Therefore, we'll use the number 101 in several different contexts throughout this book. Each of us has a certain destiny path. On that path are the lessons that we pick up like pebbles along the way. Perhaps there are a few more which you need to pick up before you are ready for your enlightened million. Just because you may want to become wealthy as soon as possible, or just because it's possible for you to make an extra million this year, doesn't mean you ought to do it. Perhaps your own personal enlightened $1 million idea, which is the one that you were destined to earn, is over the horizon a few years off. The concepts in this audio book can be very helpful to you. As you listen to this audio book and log on to our website, www.crackingthemillionairecode.com, and follow the 101-day plan. How much time will this take on a daily basis? If you're part of an actual reality TV show, you and your team would be jamming 24/7. Since most people don't have the ability to sprint around the clock, we've designed the process to take a maximum of an hour a day. If you don't have that kind of time, then it will just take you longer to reach your goal. According to our rough projections, if you spread the assignments over 101 weeks, you would reach your $1 million goal in just under 2 years. If you choose to do them in 101 months, you will get there in about 8 years. As they say, there's no such thing as an unrealistic goal, just an unrealistic time.
Your own code-cracking team. Before you launch into the work ahead, we'd like to ask you to share your goal with 4 other like-minded people. Ask 4 of your friends, family members, or associates a simple question. Would you like to become an enlightened millionaire? The 5 of you will form a team. Instructions on how to organize your team will be given later. For now, just imagine what it might be like to meet with a group of success-oriented people who would like to significantly improve their finances this year. The group could be local or virtual. Your meetings could be conducted face-to-face or by phone or via email with friends, relatives, or associates in other cities. What kinds of people do you want on your enlightened millionaire team? Think of people who are positive-minded, success-oriented individuals with a performance track record. You will be building a network that creates all your future net worth. Friendship equity is a precursor to all financial equity. To find 4 committed, dedicated, like-minded friends, you may have to share this with 101 people. That's okay. You'll find those few significant other people who can make a humongous difference to your success, significance, and future results. It may be hard for you to believe right now, but they are looking for you and praying for you to show up in their lives as much as you are looking for them. Encourage each member of your team to invest in a copy of this book. Have them read, underline, highlight, and discuss with you each and every insight, aha, and idea. We have tested this book and discovered that individuals who use this formula start to have money-making ideas. They instantly start attracting the right people into their lives to get the right results right now. Later, we will define this as serendestiny, where serendipity and your personal destiny come into easy and almost effortless realization.
I can do that.
As it says in Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12, two are better off than one, because together they can work more effectively. If one of them falls down, the other can help him up. Two people can resist an attack that would defeat one person alone. A rope made of 3 cords is hard to break. Get a piece of paper and write down the names of 10 possible team members. Then contact them one by one until your team is formed.
Are you ready? Now let's begin.
Chapter 1. Why Enlightened Wealth. There it is. Can you see it? It's the vault containing everything you have ever wanted. On the other side of the huge door to that vault, a lifestyle of abundance and prosperity, wealth and security awaits you. Behind that door is literally anything you want. But how will you ever crack the code to the vault? Around you it seems as if others have cracked the code to wealth. You can see them everywhere. They live in the best neighborhoods. They drive new, high-end cars. They work at jobs they're passionate about. They seem to be happy and balanced. Their children go to the finest colleges. They take exciting vacations. They seem to have smart, successful friends. They give time to charitable causes. They have time to do what they want, with whomever they want, when they want. It appears that they have it all. How did they get it? Did they really earn it? Or did they do something illegal or immoral or unethical to get it? Aren't you as deserving as they are? Aren't you more honest, ethical, and hardworking than they are?
A little voice inside you may be saying, why did they have so much? It's not fair. Maybe so, maybe not. But if you focus on the unfairness of it, envy will consume you. Don't focus on them and what they have. Simply focus on your own vault and claim what rightfully belongs to you. It's the wealth that was reserved for you from before you were born. The truth is that you are amazing just as you are. Be open to receiving abundance right now. You don't need to think that anything is wrong with you. You came into this world with all the necessary talent to open your own vault. Life will teach you some of the essential codes. Others will share with you shortcuts that will shave years off the process. But essentially, you're the only one who can open the door. You either figure out how to open it yourself, or it could remain forever closed. What if you're destined for a more abundant life? How sad it would be to realize too late that you could have lived a more prosperous, abundant lifestyle without sacrificing anything that you now hold dear. Your values, your health, your spirituality, your freedom, your friends, and family. Here's a shocking thought. You could actually be healthier, happier, more spiritual, more friendly, and more free to be able to do more good for the planet if you learned how to crack the code to your own personalized wealth vault.
Does it seem as if you've been locked out of your own vault? Did you blame someone else for stealing your codes? Or maybe you were just never taught them. Perhaps you weren't ready till now. Maybe you told yourself that you didn't deserve them. Or maybe after trying for years to crack the codes, you've just given up. In a dramatic experiment, some researchers placed a large fish in the middle of an aquarium with minnows to feed on. The fish fed to his heart's delight. Then, the researchers placed a glass partition in the tank, dividing it in two. After the pike had eaten all the minnows on his side of the partition, he could see the other minnows through the glass, but he couldn't get to them. He thrashed, he bumped, he bashed his body against the glass partition, but to no avail. He finally formed a belief that it was impossible for him to get to those fish. He stopped trying. Then the researchers removed the glass partition and allowed the minnows to swim all around him. He could smell them, he could see them, he could feel them, but he believed that those fish were no longer available to him, that they were forever locked away from him, that it was impossible for him to win. So he starved to death in the middle of an aquarium full of food. Everywhere you look, people are starving to death in the middle of aquariums teeming with food. Everywhere you look, people are blinded to the prosperity that surrounds them, deaf to the sound of opportunity knocking on their own front door, insensitive to the intuitive feelings that flood their entire being. This doesn't need to happen to you. There is no question that you were destined to be wealthy. One key to the code is understanding that this is not just ordinary wealth we're talking about here.
We are so excited to share with you what we've written as a manifesto of enlightened wealth. I'm going to read one sentence, and then Bob's going to read a sentence, and at the end, we're going to ask you to commit to the commitment of you becoming an enlightened wealth manifesto member.
My manifesto of enlightened wealth. I believe that I have the potential to create a great enlightened fortune.
I believe that wealth creation is a code that I was destined to crack. It is a learnable, teachable, and easily transferable skill. It makes all other skills more valuable, useful, and profitable.
I believe that almost everyone has millions of potential dollars in them awaiting the requisite stimulus, the enlightened spark.
I believe that I have an abundance of enlightened million-dollar ideas, seeds that can grow into fortunes. These seeds can sprout in the form of information, books, copyrights, products, services, inventions, licenses, plays, patents, songs, movies, franchises, business opportunities, TV shows, trademarks, processes, etc.
I believe that my richest harvests may arise not from seeds of obvious opportunity, but from seeds of adversity. When I resolve my personal life challenges, others will reward me for helping them pull the weeds from their own adversity gardens of hidden wealth.
I am coded within my DNA to solve and resolve an issue for myself, and then to prosper with it by solving it for all others.
I believe that I have been given unique talents. By using my total talents at their highest and best levels, I will be happier, healthier, and more fulfilled now, and my contributions will leave a lasting legacy.
I believe that enlightened profits are the just reward for serving greatly.
I believe that my time is best invested in creating residual income, where I work once and am paid infinitely.
I believe my dream is more quickly realized by aligning myself with an enlightened team. As a team, we can create multiple streams of enlightened residual income.
I believe that my ultimate legacy is to become an enlightened residual philanthropist, dedicated to doing lasting good works of perpetual philanthropy.
Now, we would love you to sign this, and if you go to our website, you can download it for free. Otherwise, just take a piece of paper and sign it, because you're committing to yourself and higher power that this is going to be true of your future henceforward.
A new type of wealth.
All of town is under attack.
Enlightened wealth. How you earn it and keep it is dramatically different than the ordinary wealth we see, hear, think, or read about. It is wealth with a capital W. The game of acquiring traditional small w wealth is about competition, the survival of the fittest, and the fight for the almighty dollar. Enlightened wealth is a totally new way of looking at money and wealth and prosperity. For starters, it's much more enjoyable, much safer, and lasts much longer than traditional wealth.
Yes.
Before we settle into showing you exactly how to open your personal wealth vault, let us lay down the foundation principles upon which you'll be building the skyscraper of your personal prosperity.
Nito Cubain. Nito Cubain is a visionary leader and a great philanthropist, benefactor, and humanitarian who multiplies his giving by asking others to share generously also. He came to our shores as a teenager filled with ambitions to live the American dream. He arrived from Lebanon with $50 in his pocket and no command of the English language, yet he was full of hope. Each day, Nito memorized 10 words that he had written out on a 3x5 card. He exercised immense discipline to master a language that would become his ticket to fortune, fame, and friendship, and a future that would make a significant and continuing difference in the lives of millions of people. Accepted by High Point University in North Carolina, Nito studied hard and worked 10 hours a day to earn his way through college. On graduation day, he was talking to the university president when he was informed that an anonymous donor had paid all outstanding bills for his education. Astounded, he wept, said a thankful prayer, and vowed to help others by becoming a generous and enlightened steward. He decided to give other deserving students a helping hand with their education, creating the Nito Cubain Educational Foundation. The first year, he gave a $500 scholarship to a student named Glenn Myers, who went on to earn a PhD. To increase the funding of his foundation, Nito started asking his friends and colleagues to each give $250 or more annually to encourage their support. He vowed that 100% of the money would be used for scholarships and that he would not only contribute himself, but he would personally pay all the administrative and other costs to run the foundation. Over 600 scholarships have been granted, and the foundation is still going strong. Nito began investing in real estate, starting by buying a duplex with 10% down. He always tithed, also saving 10% of whatever he earned and lived inexpensively. In 1970, his own rent was $15 a month. He saved and he bought more real estate. After investing in American Bank and Trust at age 39, Nito became a board member, catapulting himself into banking prominence. The company grew, merged again, and became the 10th biggest bank in America. AB&T now has over 30,000 employees. Nito learned on the job, becoming director on each of the new bank boards and learning from a great leader, John Allison, who is chairman of the growing conglomerate. Nito recommends that entrepreneurs get paid in stock options, assuming he or she has adequate cash flow to do so. That way one can defer taxes and pay at a lower rate on appreciating earnings. Nito also invested in the Great Harvest Bread Company and has led it to exponential growth in a time when low-carb and no-carb diets are the vogue. Reflecting his philanthropic philosophy, at the end of each day, the stores give away all of their leftovers to charity and start the next day making fresh bakery goods. As a professional speaker, Nito talks with great authority about sales, marketing, branding, business, leadership, philanthropy, and education. He has won every honor the industry offers, including membership in the National Speakers Association and Toastmasters International coveted Golden Gavel Award. As a businessman, Nito wants everyone to become fiscally literate so they know how to earn money, grow it, preserve it, become wise stewards so they can make a difference and leave a significant and lasting legacy. Nito says reputation is what others see in you, character is what God knows about you, and service is the rent we pay while we're on earth. And we need to be involved in contributing to our community, our city, schools, industry, trade association, and our world. We live in a global village. Philanthropy comes from the Greek word philos, which means friend, and anthropy, which means mankind. So philanthropist is a friend of mankind. Everyone can become a philanthropist. When asked how he does so much and still vacations 2 or 3 months a year with his wife and 4 children, he answers, it's not time management, it's life management that counts. Life management focuses on activities that you are passionate about. We have time for whatever we're passionate about. I have a to-do list, but more importantly, I have a to-stop list. I don't read newspapers in the morning. I read self-help, inspirational, and spiritual literature that uplifts me. I take vacations as an investment in memories with my children. Recently, Nito's alma mater, High Point University, recruited him unanimously to become its president. Once again, he saw an opportunity for stewardship, He instantly committed a gift of $1 million and asked 10 of his friends to match his contribution. He started his tenure with $10 million raised and a fine example of leadership in action.
Something me doing?
Can we talk? If you're looking for a hard-nosed system for making bundles of quick cash, then this is probably not worthwhile. And if talk of spirituality, faith, or belief in a higher power bothers you, then you'd best give this audiobook to a friend. But before you rush off to buy another business bestseller, here's a question we encourage you to ponder. How well does traditional business really work? On the website for the U.S. Small Business Administration, you'll find this quote: "Starting a small business is always risky, and the chance of success is slim." According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, over 50% of small businesses fail in the first year, and 95% fail within the first 5 years. No matter how you look at it, starting a business can be a difficult and rocky endeavor. In truth, nobody is 100% sure of the exact rate of business success or failure. A failure rate of 95% is often used, although other research has been more encouraging. As noted small business researcher David Birch, listed by Fortune Small Business Magazine as one of the top 10 small business minds, puts it, starting a company is very hard to do. The risks are enormous. The anxiety is enormous. Therefore, the only business you should start is one in which you have a huge interest, or else you won't have the persistence to stick with it.
Every day, thousands of new business owners gather at the starting line in a marathon of business startups. They're excited. They have high hopes. They've got an idea for a product or service that they feel could change the world and earn them a small fortune. The starter gun goes off, bang, and they launch their dream business. However, because they don't first crack the wealth code, few survive. Why does anyone start a business with those odds? We don't share these pessimistic statistics to scare you, but to inspire you to follow a safer and more enlightened path. Some of us simply feel that we are destined to be entrepreneurs. The two of us believe that we were destined to transform this 95% failure rate into a 95% success rate for the enlightened entrepreneurs. So if you're one of the 1.7 million new businesses started each year, how do you turn the odds of success in your favor? You must start by becoming an enlightened entrepreneur. Money Magazine echoes this by saying the first step in turning a dream into reality is seeking something bigger than getting rich.
Why listen to the two of us? Neither of us is a stranger to business failure. Each of us has had businesses drop dead on us. We've both been legally bankrupt, and we know what it's like to suffer the embarrassment of losing everything several times. After being hit upside the head enough times, we finally realized that there had to be a better way. We both began to practice these new enlightened business principles and prospered independently of each other. Then we joined forces and prospered even more, tens of millions of dollars worth. This isn't theory. What we'll teach you really works. We'll teach you a system for creating enlightened wealth. But let us warn you before we begin, this is very different. It might seem very weird, very strange, very foreign as compared with the world of traditional business as usual. But the odds of your success will be much, much higher. This book takes a bold look at how higher power would run a business. Frankly, the whole theme of this book is going to be about the higher power approach to business success. We're going to go very deep into this, much more deeply than almost any business text. No traditional MBA class dares touch on this stuff. It's too touchy-feely. Yes, we will put God and money in the same sentence, although we'll try to do it in a way that doesn't offend anyone. Let's start with the concept of higher power. A lot of words can be used to describe the supreme being, depending on your spiritual belief. Universe, God, Goddess, the Creator, higher intelligence, deity, divinity, providence, Jehovah,
is complete.
Allah, the Great Spirit, the Supreme Soul, Buddha, Lord, the Wise One, Divine Mind, Universal Life Force, Infinite Spirit, Mother Nature, the Godhead, the Holy Spirit, the Almighty, Eternal Father, Father in Heaven, plus 100 more. We've selected the words higher power to use throughout this book, although we encourage you to translate the concept into whatever specific words have the most meaning for you personally. It's our belief that you have been given talents to resolve a specific problem on this planet. Solving this challenge will earn you a literal fortune. We believe that higher power knows which problem you were given to solve. Higher power is waiting to show you the way. Higher power also knows the shortcut to your enlightened fortune. Higher power expects you to share some of your profits with those who are less fortunate.
The new paradigm of enlightened wealth.
Be happy to.
There's a new sound in the air. It is the sound of a new wind of economic change blowing across the world, an enlightened breeze of hope, of opportunity, of prosperity. Can you sense it? There's a new paradigm of wealth emerging, a new way to look at business, of buying and selling, of enlightened entrepreneurship. The old model is giving way to a new way of doing things. Change is on the way. The old-style capitalism is about to be transcended and transformed. In 1776, Adam Smith wrote the book that changed the world, The Wealth of Nations. Smith laid the intellectual framework for capitalism. He theorized that the invisible hand of unbridled self-interest was more powerful than any organized government activity. He envisioned a world where people pursuing their own self-interest, challenged by the fear of competition and the joy of operating in a free market, would produce better products and services and create a better world. For the most part, he was right. It has created a better world. But the knock on capitalism is that it is so selfish. The self-interested entrepreneur is too often motivated by greed and fear.
But isn't greed good? In 1987, Michael Douglas won an Academy Award for playing stockbroker, corporate takeover specialist Gordon Gekko in the Oliver Stone-directed movie Wall Street. The most memorable scene is Gekko's speech to the stockholders of Teldar Paper, a company he is trying to acquire. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. Greed in all of its forms. Greed for life, for money, for love, knowledge, has marked the upward surge of mankind. And greed, you mark my words, will not only save Teldar Paper, but that other malfunctioning corporation called the USA. As the movie goes on to portray, greed eventually reveals itself to be very destructive indeed. There are endarkened ways to create wealth, and there are enlightened ways to create wealth. We think that a new paradigm of wealth is emerging, and it appears to have the power of science behind it.
A beautiful, enlightened mind. In 2001, the Academy Award for the Best Picture was awarded for a movie entitled A Beautiful Mind. It portrays the life of John Graham Nash Jr., winner of the 1994 Nobel Prize for Economics. A scene in the movie hints at what Nash's theory would prove. Nash, played by Russell Crowe, and his four buddies watch as a beautiful blonde and her four friends enter the room. They're all attracted to her. One of the men says, "If you remember nothing, recall the lessons of Adam Smith, father of modern economics. In competition, individual ambition serves the common good. Every man for himself, gentlemen, and those who strike out are stuck with her friends." After pondering the situation, Nash replied that Adam Smith needed some revision. If each of them went for the blonde and blocked one another, then the odds are that none of them would get her. This would also offend the other women, who wants to be second best. So the best strategy would be for none of them to go for the blonde. The other girls would be flattered, and everyone would win. Adam Smith says the best result comes from everyone in the group doing what's best for himself, right? That's what he said, right? Incomplete. Incomplete. Because the best result will come from everyone in the group doing what's best for himself and the group. Governing dynamics, gentlemen. Governing dynamics. Adam Smith was wrong. The movie goes on to show how Nash discovered the game theory that eventually won him the Nobel Prize. In essence, his theory, the Nash equilibrium, initially applied to game theory, was eventually adopted into a whole range of useful life applications: economics, sociology, politics, warfare, and even biology. In economics, Nash's theory proved that there is a better, more enlightened way than unbridled self-interest. He proved that enlightened cooperation can be more enriching than the invisible hand of competition. We call this enlightened entrepreneurship. The best result is where every entrepreneur creates wealth for him or herself and the group, but not in that order. In our opinion, the best result comes when the individual entrepreneur creates wealth for the group first and then for him or herself. In doing so, we believe a divine, invisible hand orchestrates the serendipity of events to reveal the hidden opportunities for wealth and perpetual philanthropy. Enlightened wealth is a polar opposite of get-rich-quick, with its smarmy taint. If you're looking to create enlightened wealth in the fastest way possible, keep listening. Contrary to popular belief, we know that it is absolutely possible to earn honest, ethical, enlightened, legal, moral, good money, and to do so even more quickly than if you choose the alternative.
The Ptolemaic model of economics versus the Copernican model of economics. The sun rises over the eastern skyline every morning and sets in the west at night.
Why not?
For millennia, the masses believed that the Earth was the center of the universe, geocentric, and that the sun was a chariot being driven around the Earth. That's the way the scientist Ptolemy, in the year approximately 100 AD, saw it. And that's the way it remained until the Polish astronomer Copernicus, approximately 1450 AD, changed everything with his heliocentric or sun-centered version of the solar system. In modern economics, Adam Smith is analogous to Ptolemy. Smith said the world revolves around worldly self-interest, the driving force for all capitalistic success. You can see it with your own eyes. Money makes the world go round, right? Apparently so. But just as Copernicus came up with a more accurate view of the way things work, we believe that a better model of economics puts higher power at the center, a heliocentric model of economics. The truth is that everything revolves around higher power. What if you operated your enterprise from a higher power perspective? What if the products of your enterprise had the higher power seal of approval? What if you treated everyone, yourself, your partners, your employees, your customers, as higher power would treat them? What if your spiritual activities were not relegated to a special day of the week? What if your enterprise was a living love generator, the evidence of your living principles all week long? Ptolemaic capitalism puts the earth at the center of the universe, the worship of worldly values fueled by the invisible hand of self-interest. Enlightened Copernican capitalism has the earth revolving around a sun that enlightens and gives life to everything. If you make money the center of your universe, the machine will eventually bog down as the sand of greed grinds the pistons to a halt. But if enlightened wealth creation, with its love of higher power, is at the center of your universe, your economic machine runs far more smoothly. It's not the love of money itself, but the love of enlightened giving that powers the machine. Compared to greed, giving is godlike. For centuries, people thought the world was flat, until Columbus, sitting on his dock, noticed the way boats disappeared over the horizon, and then risked everything to prove his theory that the world was round. We too perceive a more circular, a different, a more enlightened way to wealth, Although the clues are very subtle, almost imperceptible, this new world of wealth is waiting just over the horizon. A new world of amazing possibility.
Enlightened principles. Enlightened wealth. Do those two words even belong in the same sentence? So many people believe that money and spirituality are mutually exclusive, that one word cancels out the other. It is our belief that wealth can be enlightened. It can be imagined, created, earned, and distributed in enlightened ways. Contrary to the widespread belief that money is the root of all evil, we believe that enlightened wealth can be the root of enormous amounts of good. It is the unbridled love of money for its own sake that has been the cause of much misery and suffering on the planet Earth. We don't encourage anyone to love money. We encourage everyone to love the good that money can do. We don't encourage anyone to hoard and stockpile money for its own sake. On the contrary, we encourage everyone to actually give away the first of your financial profits as quickly as possible. At the root of the concept of enlightened wealth are 5 foundation principles that spell the word light, L-I-G-H-T. When you build your finances upon these principles, enlightened wealth comes faster and stays longer. On your mark, get set, glow. To begin your 101-day journey, you're going to need light, L-I-G-H-T, for your path. L is lovely, I, inner wealth, G is forgiving, H, higher power, T, trustee. Let's take a closer look at these 5 principles.
L, leverage. We believe that you access your greatest wealth not by leverage, but by leverage, by doing what comes naturally to you. There are a million ways for you to earn $1 million, but only a limited number of those routes to the top of Millionaire Mountain are perfectly suited to you. They tap into your inner talents, skills, passions, values, and destiny. Yes, we believe that you are not only destined to be financially successful, but destined to do it your way. When you determine what you love to do, you access your inner power. In this way, you enlighten your journey by the light of your true passion. One of the first steps towards your $1 million goal must be to determine which of the many $1 million ideas that flow into your mind actually fits who you are. Just like the surface of each of the cells in your body is covered in receptor molecules that let certain substances into your cell, like a lock and key. Your emotional body is the receptor of certain ideas, thoughts, and feelings. When you encounter certain ideas, the receptor cells on your emotional body receive these thoughts and accept them and process them. They just fit who you are. They feel natural, second nature. In much the same way, you are destined to process the world around you by almost unconsciously receiving, pondering, and processing ideas that are perfectly suited to you. You have enlightened millions waiting for you if you can just align your emotional body receptors to the floating, enlightening concepts swirling around you. We'll cover this in more detail later.
Inner wealth. A key concept of enlightened wealth is the understanding that wealth is not just material. Most of the jealousy, envy, theft, and crime in the world today is based on the principle of scarcity. With only a few scarce resources to go around, the rich will obviously get richer and the poor will get poorer. Richer or poorer in what way? According to one Harvard study, up to 75% of the value in major corporations is made up of intangible assets. Human capital, organization capital, information capital, cultural capital, leadership capital, brand value, and customer loyalty. If most of the value is hidden, why don't we focus on this? We believe that people will be much happier, more productive, and more successful if they quit focusing on the external assets and focus more attention on the internal, intangible assets. Every person in the free world already possesses assets worth in excess of $1 million. Skeptical? Would you sell your eyes for $1 million?
I can do that.
You wouldn't. Well, since you own your eyeballs, but refuse to sell them, then you must own assets that have value in the millions. Would you sell off 20 points of your IQ to the highest bidder? Or your creativity for $1 million? You already are an enlightened millionaire.
I wish only
Even if you don't have a
serve.
penny
Yes.
in the bank, you own assets that are extraordinarily valuable. It is a wise use of your internal assets that you will parlay into millions of enlightened dollars in short order. Inner wealth is a source of all outer wealth. No inner wealth, no external money. Most of us feel broke and unworthy to be wealthy, when in truth be told, all of us are wealthy. You don't need anything else. We want to show you how to parlay what you already have into millions. How can we be so bold? Remember our reality TV show? We see ourselves literally knocking on selected doors all over the world. Inside each home, we will show the occupants how the millions they have longed for have their source right in their immediate living quarters, where they currently live. The money is all around them, hidden. The clues to the money are screaming at them. If they'll just learn how to listen. We want to show you how you're sitting in the middle of riches, invisible assets surrounding you. $1 million ideas are swirling around you. Angels are anticipating the opportunity to assist you. Literally, for real, no kidding. If 75% of your value is hidden, what are your invisible, underutilized assets? The entire world of business operates off a standard balance sheet that lists assets and liabilities, debts and ownership. But over 3/4 of the value of the entire company resides in the brains, the minds, and the hearts of the people who work there. The brand asset and all the things that do not exist on a traditional balance sheet are the source of the strength of the entire company. Everyone in the enterprise is already an enlightened millionaire, endowed with the incredible talents, gifts, connections, and ideas that, when unleashed inside the enterprise, can unleash enormous fortunes for everyone. To allow an accountant, CPA, banker, or financier to reduce the wealth of the company to a few simple lines of numbers on an darkened out-of-balance sheet to represent the real value of the company is a tragedy. Instead of trying to generate numbers every 90 days to satisfy the needs of people who are chasing the wrong goals, let's focus on more enlightened bottom lines. In the old capitalism, greed was good. In the new paradigm of enlightened entrepreneurship, greed is vanity. Let it skulk away back into the shadows. The G used to stand for greed. The G now stands for giving. The whole purpose of the enterprise, to enlighten that enterprise, is not to give, but to give.
G, giving. The third principle of enlightened wealth is giving. America is the richest nation on earth because it gives more in public and private philanthropy than all the other nations on earth combined. A billionaire from the last century, John D. Rockefeller, said it best. Think of giving not as a duty, but as a privilege. Why is it a privilege? Because giving lubricates the process of wealth building. You can see at our website, www.millionairehalloffame.com, that our students have earned hundreds of millions of dollars of profits in using our strategies. But more heartwarming are the tens of millions of dollars that these same students have already donated to charitable causes. We believe that giving is essential to long-term wealth. Givers get. It is our belief that money flows fastest to those who most anticipate the joy of sharing it. Giving primes the pump of the universe. In 1975, at age 19, a young man from Seattle founded a company called Microsoft. In less than 25 years, he topped the list as the world's wealthiest person. How did he do it? Were he and his partner, Paul Allen, just in the right place at the right time? Was it their extraordinary genius, focus, and drive? Or was it their luck, pluck, and shrewd business acumen? All of this and more. But rather than asking how they did it, here's a more interesting question. Why did Gates become so successful? Did higher power know in 1975 that computers were going to be the next big thing? Was higher power the invisible hand that orchestrated the chance meetings, partnerships, and ideas that would eventually launch Microsoft? Did higher power know that this corporation would eventually employ more than 50,000 people worldwide? Did higher power know that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation would become the wealthiest charitable foundation in the world, donating tens of billions of dollars toward global health and learning? Where do million and billion-dollar ideas come from? From human engineering. Where does that come from? We believe the source of brilliant ideas is higher power, who plants them in people who are destined to bring them to fruition. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Does the person first make millions and then get the idea to give millions away? Or does the idea that launches a successful business get downloaded into the mind of a latent potential giver, destined to succeed massively and then give vast amounts of the profits away?
Not all successful businesses are enlightened. If 95% of new businesses fail in the first 5 years, what can we learn from the 5% of businesses that succeed? Survivors fall into 3 camps. The smallest group of survivors is the most visible. The Gordon Geckos of the world operate their darkened businesses on stingy values and money-centric principles. They worship the altar of increasing profits at the expense of everything else. The front pages of the newspapers are filled with the drama of their rise and demise, giving the impression that they represent all businesses. The next and largest group of 5% survivors are those stable, ethical businesses that succeed due to a lot of hard work, persistence, and smart business practice. They latched onto a great idea and ran it without giving much credit or blame to a connection with higher power. Many of the recent winners in this group fall under the banner of corporate social responsibility. Social capitalism is a major trend whereby corporations plan to be better world citizens by being more socially and environmentally responsible. This is proving to be a smart business approach and a useful branding strategy. But this is not what we're referring to as enlightened entrepreneurs. The third and most rapidly growing group are true enlightened enterprises. Some of the most successful businesses are built on the foundation of higher power principles. To name a few: Newman's Own, The Body Shop, Stonyfield Farms, Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream, and Oprah. And there are hundreds of others, probably thousands of others. And more important, lots of new businesses are being born that are purposefully higher powered. Their foundation is spiritually based. Notice we didn't say religiously based. At the core of the enlightened enterprise is the specific desire to bring higher power into the boardroom in a very general way. To ask the question, how would higher power run this business? Even if the business doesn't produce an overtly spiritual product, with the right attitude, its business can be enlightened.
Do the best ideas come to the ones who are the biggest givers? Why did Henry Ford persist through several bankruptcies to become the icon of the fledgling automotive industry? Where did the idea for Henry Ford's assembly line come from? How did Ford recognize it? Did higher power know that Henry Ford would eventually set up a foundation that would take the profits from the idea of the motor car and funnel hundreds of millions of dollars to less fortunate people? Where did the idea for using oil as fuel come from? How did Rockefeller recognize